What's up, guys? So one of the things George R. R. Martin has said is when he created the world of ice and fire, he was strongly inspired by real-life history and events. So I wanted to create another discussion video and talk about some of these inspirations on the world. And I wanted to begin in this episode and talk about the similarities between Dorne and the real-life nation of Wales. So Dorne and Wales have a number of parallels, and I wanted to go over each one. I wanted to begin by talking about the Targaryen invasion, as this was a watershed moment for Westeros, but it didn't really have an effect on Dorne. So in the year 1 AC, Aegon Targaryen crossed the Narrow Sea and subdued all the kingdoms of Westeros. All the kingdoms bent the knee or were conquered. All the kingdoms, that is, except for Dorne. So this event was based on the real-life Norman conquest. When William the Conqueror crossed the English Channel, he forced his claim to England. The similarity between him and Aegon is so strong that they even have the same epithet, the Conqueror, added to their names. Both of their conquests were also watershed moments and changed the culture and politics of the nations they defeated. Something interesting about the story of Aegon, though, is when he takes his invasion into Dorne, he does not succeed. He crosses the Dornish mountain range and finds his armies and dragons ill-adapted to the climate of Dorne. So he's forced to retreat, and Dorne becomes one region that isn't unified under the Targaryens. This is such a huge event in Dorne that its ruling family, the Martells, add a reference to it to their motto, taking the phrase unbowed, unbent, unbroken as their badge of honor. So while all the other kingdoms in Westeros fall under Aegon, Dorne alone remains independent. So this has a parallel in history, and just like Aegon was unable to conquer Dorne, William of Normandy was unable to conquer Wales. He was able to subdue England when he arrived on the island, but when William went to Wales he met resistance there, and an army able to fend off his attacks. So geography played a role in both Aegon and William's defeats. Aegon had trouble when he found himself in the deserts of Dorne, and William also had trouble in the rugged terrain of Wales, and that made his conquests there difficult. So what the Targaryens do in Ice and Fire is marry into Dorne peacefully and win over its people through diplomacy, since they're unable to do so by war. And this has a parallel with the Normans, as when they found they were unable to conquer Wales, they started marrying into the country instead. There are other ways Dorne and Wales are similar. In Dorne they have a different culture, one very distinct from the rest of Westeros. And this is similar to the story of Wales, which had a Celtic culture and language, compared to the Anglo-Saxon and Anglo-Norman cultures which dominated in England. We also see a comparison in the naming styles of the two locations. So in real life, Wales is called a principality, such that upcoming monarchs of the United Kingdom are first styled as princes of Wales. In Dorne, this is the same. They also refer to their rulers as princes, and Dorne itself was called a principality. There are other parallels I want to go over, and we can see them on our maps. Just like Dorne is separated from the rest of Westeros by a mountain range called the Dornish Mountains, Wales is also separated from England by its own mere series of mountains. We also see that both Dorne and Wales are peninsulas, with Dorne protruding out of Westeros, just like Wales does with England. There's one final connection to Dorne that I want to go over, and it's connected to another Celtic region which exists on the British Isles. There's another peninsula that adjoins to England, and the region is called Cornwall. And geographically, if you hold a map of Dorne to that of southwest England, the two look almost identical, but you have to flip the peninsula around. Finally, we see the name of Cornwall being incorporated into the name of Dorne. So where you see the ORN, you see that George R. R. Martin has taken the name and used it in the name he created. So these were some thoughts I had when thinking about Dorne. There are obviously other connections you can make, but I wanted to focus this time on Wales and Cornwall. In later videos I'll draw other parallels and explore them in detail. But for now, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you again.